Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination thrive. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Welcome to the very first official No Topic Tuesday. No Topic Tuesday pretty much replaces the throw-in shows that we would do when we didn't have a particular topic. Now it is scheduled. Tuesday belongs to my geeks. It belongs to you guys. I purposely will not insert a topic specific solely for the purposes of you bringing one. So this is, like I said, this is probably going to be the easiest show of the week for me because we don't have to have anything going on. But this is going to be the one show a week, the one planned show a week where we hear from you, and we don't necessarily have to move on from one topic to another. I can just move on from one comment to another, and if we stick on a topic that's getting traction, that's where we stay. So there we go. No topic doesn't mean no topic; it means no topic from us, the host. I am your host. You know who I am. Goes without saying, I'm William. I may or may not have a co-host tonight. I don't know if he's still getting over his bug and all that stuff. And it is 2 o'clock. This would be 3 o'clock in the morning here. So if Brad is not here tonight, it's understandable. And if he's not here, I'll take off these headphones because I don't need him without a co-host here because I can hear him just fine. Other than that, tomorrow there is no show, but Thursday shows we do have topics. As you saw at the beginning of the show there, Sal Buscema is passed on. If you are watching this show, there's a good chance that you are a comic book nerd like myself. And if you are a comic book nerd of any age group, you have come across Sal Buscema's work. He was an old guy, but his work covered a lot. There are kids today picking up things that Sal Buscema penciled. He had a long, prolific career, and even though we recognize his passing tonight on this show, I am going to go into greater detail with Sal Buscema's career on Thursday night. Also, Thursday night, we're going to dive deep into the Daredevil Born Again Season 2 trailer. We can talk about it tonight, but we're not going to actually have it as a topic. This is No Topic Tuesday till Thursday. I will be reviewing Absolute Wonder Woman, which comes out tomorrow. Along with I've already done Absolute Batman number 16, which was a brilliant episode, and I got a couple other things lined up for Thursday. Friday, I will not be streaming at all anywhere, even Baki Stream. And then Saturday, we got some. We have a special guest, a couple of special guests possibly that are currently in the middle of GoFundMe accounts. We will be talking 1986 once more, but also I'm going to throw in some 1996 movies and songs as well. I don't think the 90s were as iconic music wise as the 80s were, but the 90s were better music. That was the era of post-grunge alternative. So we'll have a lot to talk about there, but yeah, this is your time. So let's get started. Start from the top. And I will during no topic Sunday, I'm going to or topic Tuesday. Sorry, got the day wrong. I'm going to do my best to answer everything you guys have on there. So take all of our time seriously. Don't spam. Do my best to get to you. I will do my best not to skip you, but also just because we've taken the restraints off the topics don't turn the chat in this forum into nonsense. All right, let's have some discipline here and let's have some fun. There's the duck, Hosea. What's going on? And there's our first comment. Well, William, I like episode 2 of Night of the Seven Kingdoms. The show does a great job of making me root for Sir Duncan and Tall to win the best Night of the Kingdom. Yeah, I like the show in a different way that I like the other Game of Thrones stuff. It's a pretty good show. Pretty good show. It's gonna grow on me. It is moving at the same pace as all of the other Game of Thrones. I mean, a lot of if you ever watch Game of Thrones, I'm a Game of Thrones nut. They do a lot of world building and people placement and getting everything set, and then the show takes off. Now, spoiler alert, because it's not really a spoiler. I mean, if you watch Game of Thrones, you've heard Sir Duncan the Tall. Sir Duncan the Tall is a legendary knight. He's not just a knight. They didn't just pick him by accident. They picked a legendary knight that's even mentioned in Game of Thrones. So if you're wondering how the tournament goes, yeah, he's successful in a lot of ways. And then his squire is a Targaryen. So yeah, it's a weird choice to do a show on when it comes to Game of Thrones, but you know what? They never fail me with their concepts. They do fail me with some of their episodes, but not their concepts. So there we go. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. What up? I just drew a Sonic character as a fascist. So what do you have to get the uniform and all the medals that fascists don't earn but still have? Kind of cool. I also watched episode 1 of Wonder Woman. That's another thing we're going to be talking about. I forgot that in the promo. I'm gonna get a chance. I'll probably they released them all at once, but I am probably gonna watch maybe the first 2 episodes and review those on Thursday, and then watch a little bit more and review that on Saturday. It's weird. I'm not a big fan of releasing these all like this. I don't like it when Netflix does it, but the only way we can discuss it as a platform like this is if we watch them the way a lot of people are going to watch them. Otherwise, we're never going to be on the same page. So I wish they would not do that. I wish Netflix would veer away from that. The weekly conversation is the lifeblood. Listen, we don't have physical media anymore, but we still have conversations that can take place anywhere. And when you extend the conversation, you extend the life of whatever you're talking about. I mean, could you imagine if Game of Thrones and was released all in one shot? The conversation's over with, and the epic buildup is what really builds these things. So I really hope that platforms stop doing that. But yeah, I'm gonna watch Wonder Man tonight. I've heard nothing from my fellow geeks. I've heard nothing but good things. I have heard nothing but good things about it. So there you go. And lastly, The Wrecking Crew with Batista and Momoa dropped tonight on Amazon Prime, New Zealand, and The Stand in Honolulu. Looking forward to checking it out. New Zealand was the stand-in for Honolulu. Yeah, 2 actors that I really enjoy watching. I might have to stop my day and see that. We might have to do a watch party of that. Who knows? I saw the trailer. It looked like a lot of fun. And we go from New Zealand to Australia. Hello, my favorite kangaroo person. 1986, your birthday. You're welcome to 40. Get that Metamucil. Start moving around. Shit that's not supposed to pop and crack starts popping and cracking. Get up and think you're gonna spring out of bed and head about your day, and your ass is gonna be grabbing your back and your feet. Having to call the wife and kid to get the walker for you. What's up, man? When is your birthday? We have to celebrate your birthday. Movies recently have been uninteresting. Any interesting movies coming out this year? I mean, it all depends on what you're. Obviously, we have the comic book movies. We have Doom. We have Supergirl. We have Doomsday. Nothing that's really caught my eye. But then a lot of the best movies that I saw in the last couple of years, I mean, they just crept up on me. You know, obviously we have the big blockbusters and things like that are where, you know, guys like me are anticipating. But it all depends on what you're into too. You know, it's hard to really anticipate something if you're not into it. But I think this is going to be like a big blockbuster year for movies, I believe. Yeah, get off Clint's lawn. Clint's older than me, so yeah, he has the right to tell you that one. I don't have any yet. I saw the trailer, and it was just a bunch of. It was kind of it was a fun trailer to get the blood going, but as far as like context goes, it was kind of useless because they just threw a bunch of out of context images together, and you know, and things together with a couple. You know, I forgot what that song was, but I was already. Listen, I'm going to watch Daredevil Born Again season 2. Seeing Jessica Jones in that trailer doesn't scare me off. If I start seeing the Defenderish type people in these episodes and they start taking the focus off of a Daredevil, then I'm gonna have an issue. But right now, I'm all in. I enjoyed season 1 enough. I mean, it had some issues and it has some things I hope they fix, but the Frank Castle Matt Murdock, and I say that as not the Punisher and Daredevil, the Frank Castle Matt Murdock interaction when he goes looking for him and Frank confronts him with the guilt. He confronts him with what's been bothering him, and what's really, you didn't come here looking for me, you came here looking for a justification. And I love that interaction. I love the way they did that. And I need more John Bernthal Punisher. I need more. You know, Foggy's alive, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. Foggy, we already know Foggy was alive. I was saying that before, but I think I'm going to enjoy it. Like I said, as long as they don't clutter it, I'll be okay. But the trailer really didn't do much for me, or whatever that was. That was more of a teaser. But we're gonna do our watch-alongs on that, and like I said, and if it maintains the quality, we'll keep it up. But once it starts turning into Defenders, we will cease those watch parties. So. You know what? Old Jack Burton always says, "What the hell." But yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there and I can agree. There's a lot of I finally got done with One Day After Another yesterday, I think, this morning. Oof. Not for me, man. Not for me. I'm glad the people who watched it enjoyed it. It was pain. It was one battle after another was a painful watch. And it kind of fucks with your head in a way that I don't really want a movie. It just doesn't entertain me. The standout performances for each individual were good. Leonardo DiCaprio, they're all good, but it was like, what was I watching? I was like, I just didn't feel like I was watching something that I was really worth my time. But it's been getting a lot of hype, so there you go. Sean Penn does I don't think he can act at any other level than what he acts at, which is great. There's a lot of standout performances in this movie. But none of them came together to make it something that was like, wow, I wasn't blown away by it. I found it, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory way. It's just like I've always said on this show, guys, pacing is important to me when it comes to the movie. That movie's all over the place, and it took me weeks to get through it. So, that was kind of like when I watched Nora last year, because, I was curious about, okay, what the hell? Not a bad movie, not my taste, but not a. I don't think that was an Academy Award Best Picture movie. But then again, you know how I feel about the Academy at the point. So yeah. This year, only things I'm looking forward to is Odyssey. I forgot all about the Odyssey. I am intrigued and interested in the Odyssey, and I'm going to go see the Odyssey. Now, there's two different types of Christopher Nolan movies for me. There are movies like Dunkirk and Oppenheimer, and then there's everything else. There's only two of his movies that I rewatch on a regular basis. I watch Dunkirk at least once a year now since it's been out. Oppenheimer I've seen several times since then, but his other movies, I can't think of too many more movies I dislike than Memento. Tenet is up there with both those. And I guess I'm just too stupid for Christmas. Maybe I'm just a dummy. I mean, I just don't feel. And then there's movies that I did look forward to at the time that they were released, and I just didn't. I walked out of the theater, was like, okay, underwhelmed. Inception, I thought the world of that when I saw the trailer for that. I saw the movie. You know, Interstellar was the same thing, and that was at that point where I'm like, it has a lot of the wow factor that I love in cinema, but the context and content and pace and everything else about his movies is it nothing he does in any of those movies counters that, except for Oppenheimer, except for Dunkirk, because in those two movies, everything he does works. It all comes together. But yeah, so I'll go see the Odyssey and I'll give it a shot. Passion of the Christ 2, supposedly, and Cliff Booth, the spinoff of Tarantino's Once Upon a Time. I'm going to be one of the few people that it was a fun time watching that when we promoted that movie. I did not think that movie was anywhere remotely close to Academy Award winning anything. And I'm surprised of what it walked away with. I didn't leave Once Upon a Time in Hollywood wanting anything more. I was like, all right, okay. I didn't need to spin off from that. I didn't think that movie warranted anything other than what it gave me. I mean, there are other Tarantino movies that I would have loved spinoffs from, but this was not. If you ask me movies that I could get something more of from Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not even on the list, but wasn't a bad movie, but I didn't even think it would get mentioned at the Oscars, and it won one, and it won one that still blows my mind. So, Terrifier 4, you guys have fun with that crazy shit. Stop spoiling what? Sorry, Game of Thrones is already spoiled for you. You know, I mean, if you watched Game of Thrones and you know who Sir Duncan Natal is, you know, he's in the Book of Knights. He's in the Book of Brothers, as a matter of fact. That's how you hear about him. Well, yes, but I had to censor it. Yeah, watch out. Well, you're safe. You're in Australia. You don't have patches in there. Yeah, you and Azteca are both in the 909, right? You guys should hook up. I don't know if I'm going to dive back into Rings of Power. Obviously, I'm not. It's not for me. It's not. It wasn't aimed. It's aimed at Tolkien guys, which I am not one of. So, but I've seen enough of it. I watched half of the first season. I think I watched all of the first season, but not coming back. October 3rd is your birthday. Oh, wow. We'll have to keep that. October 3rd is an easy day for me to remember because of Black Hawk Down and Master Sergeant Randy Shugart and Sergeant First Class Gary Gordon were the two. We've covered it on the show. The two Delta Force snipers who broke down to defend Chief Warrant Officer 4 Michael Durant until help could get to him. They were both killed on that day. I will never forget where I was at with that day. I was at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. We had already graduated. We were done, and we were just waiting for to travel out to Redstone Arsenal, where I was going to be doing my AIT. and I was watching that on when we finally got TV access at the end of the cycle. That was what I was watching, and I'm not even a complete soldier yet. I'm a soldier because I just graduated basic training, but I hadn't been trained in my specialty yet. I'm wearing the same uniform that those guys wore, and I didn't. It's just well. So yeah, October 3rd will be easy to remember your birthday because I call that Black Hawk Down Day. Yeah, I am behind on Fallout. I am behind. I have not touched this season. I don't believe so. It's good. I mean, you're talking about the Shadow one with Alec. What's his face in it? It's accurate. It's very accurate. Shadow's not a big name character, so I'm surprised they even did that movie. But yeah, it's very accurate if you read the comic, and it also has a radio show too. You'll have plenty of people to tell you about Doomsday for sure, and Spider-Man. I'm looking actually. Spider-Man's the one I'm really looking forward to now. This weekend, didn't we just have UFC last week? Something like that? Did we just have one Saturday? Good thing it's not sold out yet, but if I decide I need to buy my ticket tomorrow, oh, you're talking about Friday. I stopped halfway through Daredevil Born Again, season 1, lost interest. William, I'm hoping you're right about Froggy. As for now, it's unfortunately looking like flashbacks. Telling you guys, Foggy's alive. He's alive. Oh, Melania movie? Yeah, that's on my list of things that I will not be watching or partaking in. Probably have protesters at the movie. I like how Fourth called it one conversation after another. Yeah, I'm just not seeing what people saw in the movie, but you know, all films are subjective, so. Yeah, the story sucked. I was trying to figure out what people would gravitate, but no, you are 100% right. The each individual and I can see now, after seeing it, how somebody can consider certain individuals for Academy Awards. I can see that now. I can't see the movie. I don't think that's a well-directed movie, and I don't think that I don't think the best. I can't see best movie about that. But then again, you know, the Oscars do it. But I can see Sean Penn. I can see Leo. I can see that because individually they stood out and they did really good job. The movie as a whole didn't really do anything for me. Get my movies mixed up. Hold on. Let's see what that got nominated. Let's see. Leonardo DiCaprio is great, but Del Toro is really good. Hell, shit, you already. This movie is like literally, you know, laced with. Hold on for a second. I'm just looking up something real quick. Just looking up Regina Hall. Did she win anything? She's been around forever, though. Okay, so she did. But you look at Leonardo DiCaprio, Oscar winner. Sean Penn, Oscar winner. Benicio del Toro, Oscar winner, even though I don't think he should have won it that year. Regina Hall, Tanea Taylor. Just saw her on Saturday night. She's really good. Chase Infinity, who didn't get nominated. I was surprised about that. But where are you going to put her? I think there's just something about Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, for the ones I've seen, that just, let's see, when I look at his, all right, let's see. I did like Magnolia, but mostly because of Tom Cruise. Wasn't a big fan of Inherent Vice. I saw Licorice Pizza. Once again, that's another movie that has some really good standout performances in it, but the whole movie itself just kind of like lost me. So yeah, that's probably a lot of. Let's see, the directing styles are real big with me. I didn't feel like I was watching one thing worth my time. I mean, I gave it a shot because of the you look at the list of performers in that. I'm like, I gotta see this, and it just, I didn't feel like I hate saying it. I think it's overhyped because that is not my call. If other people watch it and enjoy it and they hype it, then it's not overhyped. It's hype right where it needs to be. But for me and what I like to get out of movie going, I got some really good performances, but nothing that came together in a way that I just thought it was something I really, was not memorable for me. It just was something I did. There you go. Difference of opinion. That's perfectly fine. Oh, Dunkirk and Oppenheimer, in my opinion, are Christopher Nolan's two best movies by far. It's not even close. If I stop listing Nolan movies at Dunkirk and Oppenheimer, and those are brilliant movies. Dunkirk is Dunkirk, the way he's shot, and I see the way he does things, and it doesn't appeal to me in these other movies. Dunkirk, everything works. Everything he does in Dunkirk works. Oppenheimer, that movie has all the reason to be as boring as watching cardboard multiply, but it's a brilliant movie. All the decisions he made in Oppenheimer were the right ones. They work. The color, the black and white, everything works. The flashbacks, the not using. It's a movie about an atomic weapon, but you're not overwhelmed by the atomic weapon. It's a movie about Oppenheimer himself. The way he shot certain scenes, like that. Hell, even the sex scene in Oppenheimer, where Florence Pugh and him are banging in that room where that council is, and that was like the metaphor of invasion of privacy. So, like I said, when he's on. For me, he's just been off more than anything. So yeah, but Dunkirk and Oppenheimer, those are his two best movies, if you ask me. Did you like Tenet? No. I didn't think anything about Tenet was easy, to be honest with you. Tenet and Memento are the two movies that I'm like, I need to go watch something else to rewire my brain. I didn't really feel anything about those movies. I hope so. I mean, it has everyone in it. If you weren't casted for Odyssey, you need to find out if you still want it in Hollywood, because he got everybody in that movie. Listen, the best thing about for me about Interstellar was the soundtrack. Dunkirk and Talkenheimer are my least favorite from Nolan. There's my two best ones. I just stop. I stop at those because I don't really like the other films. So it's hard judging movies I just don't like. But I like those two movies, and those two movies are great. I mean, Talkenheimer, I mean, if that's just not the pace of movie you're into, then like I could see how you would describe it at that. But a lot of the dialogue in Oppenheimer is very important. The words that are being spoken by these historical figures is very important. So I thought it was fine. Then, man, Christopher Nolan is ultimate. You just don't get it, director. I can appreciate the craftsmanship, but not necessarily some. Yeah. You can clearly see when you're watching his movies, the methods and things that he is doing, are unique to him, just like Michael Mann has a unique style to him. I just don't think at any given time they come together to make a movie that I like, except for two times. because I recognize all those elements that are in Oppenheimer and Dunkirk. I recognize all of those and all the other movies that he's done, but they just don't work. But then they come here. You go with Dunkirk, all the filmography he's done, all the cinematography he's done, the score. His scores are. There's not a bad Nolan score. So, there's that. The scores, the elevation, the action where the action needs to be, the dialogue where the dialogue needs to be. There are certain times when a director can use dead spots and it really amplifies the moment. He does it in some movies sometimes where it's like, what are we doing here? But when he does it in Dunkirk, when all that fire is going along and you just hear silence and you just focus on the actors, it works in Dunkirk. It works in Oppenheimer. It just doesn't work for me in the other movies. So but he's that kind of director to where if he's making a movie, I'm going to go see it. Because listen, it only takes one movie for me to give a director a chance at anything else he does. And he's done 2 movies that I really enjoy. So Odyssey, maybe Odyssey is, there's a 50-50 chance that Odyssey is going to be on the Dunkirk and Oppenheimer side of things. And if it is, we got another great one. I agree with you, William. Once upon a time, but Cliff Booth will be the merging of 2 titans. Tarantino's writing and David Fincher's directing. Yeah, David Fincher's directing is where you'll probably get me in on anything. Like I said, when I left Once Upon, I wasn't like, wow, shit, what's next? Oh, wow, I got to get more of this. No, I mean, I'm like, it's fun. The movie's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's not Inglourious Bastards good fun, but it's that kind of fun for me. It was on that road for me, and then they do their bullshit with, the historical doing whatever, Quentin Tarantino wants to do, we killed Hitler and, he didn't die. But I mean, that was fun. I know what I'm going into when I go into Quentin Tarantino's movies. Except for Django. There were certain scenes in Django I was like, ooh, and then, but David Fincher, listen, David Fincher, if you're watching, Mindhunters. All this other stuff you're doing, I'm happy for you. But you just left me hanging with Mindhunters, one of the greatest things Netflix ever done. If you guys haven't watched Mindhunters, stop what you're doing and go watch Mindhunters. Oh, it's a great show. I cannot believe that the guy who directed Alien 3 has done so much great. That's like the only bad thing he's done. That's like literally the only bad. Let's look at David Fincher's. Has he done anything that sucked? I mean, other than Alien 3? Hold on. Let's see. He's getting up there in age too, man. Oh no, he's only 63. Hold on. Let's see. Let's click from a filmology. Stop. All right, 1992, Alien 3. That movie sucks. Don't come in my comments trying to defend that movie's fucking awful. 7 is one of the great serial killer horror movies of all time. Whatever you want to call it. 7 is one of the better movies of all time. The Game. Michael Douglas. Okay, so Fight Club, I did not like, but it's a brilliant movie. I understand what he was doing, but I just didn't appeal to me. Panic Room was good. Zodiac. Oh my god. I think if I had to give like a top 5 or 10 serial killer movies of all time, he's got 2 of them on here already. Zodiac is one of my favorite movies. All right, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The Social Network, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo Gone Girl was excellent. Mank, The Killer and Adventures of Cliff Booth, and that's the one that's going on Netflix. I'll probably get released in the theaters now. We got this merger bit, but let's see. yeah, this guy he's got a bunch of other stuff that he's got in here that's in the burner that hasn't been done yet. But like I said, I wasn't really waiting for anything out of Once Upon a Time to drop into my lap. Damn, it's David Fincher. So One Battle Another looks like a slog. It is. It is. I would take. I can't even put them in the same category. That's just my personal preference. I thought I of the movies that I saw, I thought Sinners was the best movie. I thought Sinners was the best movie, and you know, I don't know what its prospects of or winning an Academy Award. And people tell me 15 nominations is a victory and stuff. Yeah, okay, great, fine. It's not going to change if it doesn't win Academy Award. I still think it's the best. I just like seeing people get recognized for really brilliant work, and Michael B. Jordan is brilliant in that movie. You know, just the way things. I mean, just everything about that movie says best movie to me. But you know, but yeah, I didn't feel when I was watching one battle after another. I didn't feel like I was watching the best movie of the year by even any standard. I felt like I was watching some of the best performances of the year, though, if that makes any sense. Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, and Kill Bill are so far beyond anything once. But yeah, Pulp Fiction was a movie that it took me a while to really appreciate. It took me a third or fourth watch to okay, this is Reservoir Dogs. You know, the cafe scenes is legendary. Kill Bill was at this point I knew I was watching bullshit. I was watching impossible, inconceivable bullshit, and I was having a ball because I grew up. You know, I know we don't have our kung fu guy here, but I grew up because the old man watched the Game of Death, all the Bruce Lee stuff we watched. You know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you know, going him and Chuck Norris going at it, but we watched that stuff, and so did Quentin Tarantino. He loves that shit. So, that was one of the most fun. That's probably one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies, 1 and 2. I consider them one movie. But yeah, Once Upon a Time, there's a lot of stuff in that I look for in Quentin Tarantino's movies that I wasn't feeling in Once Upon a Time. Now, the guy that, you know, one of the gifts that movie gave us, though, the guy who plays Charles Manson in that movie plays him in Mindhunters. If you watch the Charles Manson thing, I think it's episode 5 of season 2. Just YouTube and type in Mindhunters Charles Manson. The Charles Manson that very same actor plays is that's the best 10 minutes of Mindhunters. And Mindhunters has a lot of epic minutes in it. The interview between Holt and his partner in that movie is some of the best shit I've seen on a screen, big or small. And he upped his game for that show. In fact, you know what? Let me. I'm gonna find it and put it in the chat for you guys because this is you have to see this. You have to experience this. Let's see. Mindhunter. Yeah, Mindhunter Manson. I've typed it in so many times. Hold on for a second. Okay, this is a Spanish, but it's in English, so you guys are gonna be able to hear it. It's beautiful. It's like watching and hearing him in this spot is like symphony, you know. So there you go. You're excited for the? I have not heard of that one. What is that, Joga? Is that animation? Jackie Brown is an underrated, and it has some really good performance in that one. De Niro is great in that one. Bridget Fonda is in that one. Everybody's in that movie. Yeah, I mean Jackie Brown is an underrated one of his. I tried Once Upon a Time in Hollywood the other day. It was good until Bruce Lee scene. That a lot of even Brad, Kung Fu Brad, that scene to me, I was all right. That was one of the ones I didn't bother me as much. Because at this point, you're watching his version of these things. Right? Once you see Inglourious Basterds, you're like, okay, he's doing his own thing. But just, that pissed off a lot of people. Especially a lot of Bruce Lee fans, because that they didn't think that was a proper representation of him. I wish Tarantino would direct remake Natural Born Killers, a movie tried to dissociate. That's interesting. I don't know if people would accept a remake of Natural Born Killers. That movie is reviewed very favorably by a lot of people, so it's a tough one. Royal Saudi blood money. Yeah, it's a lot of blood money. It's a lot of money. I think they're getting, I shit you not, I think they're getting like 30 or 40 million for these things. It's like, damn. And then because you got WrestleMania, dude, I want to know, I got to probably look at the numbers of how much the Saudis paid, because they got unlimited money. Money is nothing to Saudi, nothing to them guys. So yeah. Yeah, I didn't think it was one of the best parts, but I wasn't as offended about it. Now you talk to some people who, like, especially people who follow Bruce Lee's career, you bring up that movie, they give you that look, like trying to change the subject look. I'm like, okay. Royal Rumble is always fun to watch, primarily because of seeing people for the first time coming out, seeing people come back. Powerhouse Hobbs will probably be in there. After that, it's one of the few events that WWE puts on that I actually watch. And then obviously that sets up WrestleMania, which takes place here. So I always pay more attention to the original ones, the Royal Rumbles, the Survivor Series, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam. Those to me are the four, the original four that came out. Everything after that, when they started doing when it started going once a month, that's when I think wrestling kind of got like ruined. I'm not going, but I expect them to show. I expect them to show either or both Supergirl and Lanterns. That's what I would expect. But then again, they could show nothing. They could just show trailers, because Lanterns comes out in the summer, and Supergirl comes out about a month later after CinemaCon. So they'll probably show Supergirl to them at CinemaCon. The only time I ever really wanted to go to CinemaCon was to see Top Gun Maverick, because that's where they showed it. But after that, you can get into CinemaCon, but they want $1,000, and there's nothing happening at CinemaCon that I would ever spend $1,000 on, and it just becomes like a joke. So yeah. Nah, I couldn't after the Bruce Lee scene, even though I heard it was an over-exaggeration in his mind. 2008, do you think Sean Penn was more deserving of winning the Oscar over Mickey Rourke and The Wrestler? Are we talking about, was that for Milk? Was that for Milk, or was that for Miss? Dude, my mind. I spent so much time putting the Oscars out of my mind, because every movie that Sean Penn has won for, I think he has been deserving of those movies. But let's take a look at this. Let's see. Okay, he's got 2 Academy Awards. One of them was one is for Milk and one is for Mystic River. So I know. Yeah, I thought he was great in both of those. Let's go. Awards nominations. Okay. All right. So he won for Milk. So no. So who did he beat out there? This was that year, Slumdog Millionaire. This was the last year that I really gave a shit about this. I still can't believe Slumdog Millionaire won Best Movie. But hey. All right, Sean Penn was Best Actor. He beat Richard Jenkins for The Visitor. Frank Langella for Frost Nixon, which was a really good movie. Brad Pitt for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and Mickey Rourke and The Wrestler. To answer your question, yes, I thought he was more deserving, and I saw all those movies, by the way. Yes, I do. That was Mickey Rourke's best role, but I thought Sean Penn was just a level B above him for that one. How you doing, Steven? Sean Lennon for what in 2008? Sean Penn. Sean Lennon is John Lennon's kid. I didn't like or dislike it. It was just something that was there. It just was like, it was more of like a teaser type of thing. It wasn't really a true trailer. I'm already in for season 2 until otherwise notified. So yeah, that teaser was just, like I said, it was a bunch of out of context images. We'll talk about it now. We'll watch it on Thursday. Paul Thomas Anderson's movies in the past were great. Vincent crammed with story arcs. After There Will Be Blood, his stories just feel meh. William, what was the last movie you felt was a movie you had to absolutely see and couldn't wait until streaming? Dune Part 2. I think. Oh, hold on. I have so many movies. Well, Sinners was one. I mean, Sinners was one. Dune Part 2. I would say those would be the last ones that last one. But there's been a lot. Obviously, Blade Runner 2049. In 2017. There's a lot of movies. Most of the movies every movie that I actually go see for the most part is a movie that I don't want to wait for streaming. But Dune Part 2 was probably the last one. But like I said, Sinners was as soon as I saw the trailer for Sinners, I had to go see that movie. Everything else is something I did see in the theaters, but I could have waited. What now? The Prestige, Batman Begins, and like I said, this is Aztec. This is going to be an opinion. This is going to be something that we're just not going to agree on, and we don't have to because it's how those movies mean to me. Prestige, I found boring. Obviously, if you watch this, you've watched this show, know what I feel about Batman Begins. It literally, no shit, put me to sleep. Batman Begins is the only superhero that put me to sleep. Interstellar, Inception are much better than Dunkirk. No, I'm not in my, like I said, and this is all subjective. No. None of these movies that you listed are within miles of Dunkirk and Oppenheimer. Those are brilliant movies by any director, not just amongst a certain director's catalog. Dunkirk and Oppenheimer are in classes of their own, regardless of what director we're talking about. But no, those movies to me don't belong in the same category. But Dunkirk is cool. It's more of an experience. It's like 1917, but it is my top. It is my top. Yeah, see, for me, and like I said, a lot of you guys actually like Nolan's other movies too. So that's a difference between you and I. Is I don't really like most of his other movies. I love Dunkirk and I love Oppenheimer. I love 1917 too. But see, remember, I'm a war, but I love those movies. World War One, fucking brutal, dude. I thought Sam Mendes. That's one of his better movies. Where he gets you right up close to the horror that World War One was in the ways that most movies I've seen just don't get done. You know what I mean? I don't. I hate that movie. Literally. literally out of sequence. Like I said, I just didn't, I don't appreciate that movie like other people do. How you doing, Doctor Butcher? Like I said, those are preferential for me. I love those movies. I love World War One and World War II movies. So that might be why I like those two particular ones by Nolan. But I love 1917. 1917 is that's a brutal movie and it's done very well. Except my name is not has no connection to the silly rabbit. Duck season, rabbit season. Isn't the Super Bowl this weekend? No, Super Bowl is next weekend. The Super Bowl is February 8th. Right? Let's see. Super Bowl is February 8th. Yep, February 8th. Might do another live watch. I had fun last year when we did that. We did a live watch of the Super Bowl, I think, right? And had a good time. I'm going to be watching the Super Bowl. I think Seattle's going to run away with it, but hey, anything can happen. Borkirk and them. I mean, hey, like I said, I'm not here to change your mind on those. Yeah, it's next weekend. I thought only the younger generation hated dialogue. Yeah, some younger ones do. Let's see. Just looking at something. Just got text from somebody. Hold on. Guess we aren't getting a Brad tonight. Oh well. And he knew about tonight's show, so that's all right. Like I said, he's on the East Coast, and once you go to bed on the East Coast, you're not getting up. Let me respond to this. All right. Let's see. The OG rumored ending, the original ending, Once Upon a Time, sounded awesome. Steve McQueen, Bruce Lee, DiCaprio, and Cliff Booth team up, and LA Siege on a Manson, and a Siege on a Manson family at Spawn Ranch. I want to see that. There you go. It's one of those movies that I'm not on board with as far as genre goes, because a lot of what I like about Fincher is genre based. So yeah. Oh, for Dragon, yeah, that's fair enough. Well, not a remake. That was a remake, right? Yeah, that was a remake. Yeah, I don't trust the Academy. Sorry, you know how I feel about those guys and gals. Jose, okay, hot take time. I think Tom Hardy played twins better in Legend. You could easily point out the massive differences between Reggie. I guess I think Michael B. Jordan, what he does in that movie, playing two different people and then playing one of them as a vampire. So, funny, William, your thoughts on Once Upon a Time? Might it be predicated on Tarantino trying to match Paul Thomas Anderson? Possibly, because that was a very different movie. Like I said before, I didn't get that Tarantino feel that I get in everything else that he's done. Even in the stuff that is a little bit more grounded, like Django, I felt like I was watching Tarantino in that movie. So, favorite Tarantino films: Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight's another one that doesn't get a lot of talk. I enjoyed Inglourious Bastards, and like I said, that third act is fucking crazy. I hate Inglourious Bastards. I call it Tarantino's talking at tables. The movie. I like it. And Christoph Waltz does well in that movie. Let's see. Yeah, including Hitler. One Piece. I'm just going off the top of my head of the stuff I see go through, but I'd have to get. I can answer that question better in front of my database. But yeah, I think One Piece. I don't carry a lot, so I kind of like narrow it down to what I what's trending when it comes to anime. Because if you're not careful, you could lose your ass on anime because um anime trends are different from when it comes to guys like when it's like not booksellers and mass producers and mass sellers. It's a different world for us. So, but right now, One Piece would probably be my best selling stuff. Yeah, that was some bullshit too. That was some bullshit. What did that? What year did that one? Was that in the mid-90s? Yeah, that was a rough year. That was in 2004. Oof. Yeah, it won. It won 3-1 Best Picture, which it was not that year. Original screenplay, and I'm like, what in the fuck? Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what it was up against in 2004. I was deployed when this one came out. Okay. Munich was a better movie. Good Night and Good Luck was a better movie. And I actually saw this movie because Capote was a way better movie. That one Schumann, that one Philip Seymour Hoffman. Brokeback Mountain. Um, Ang Lee won for Brokeback Mountain. That was a tough year. Who's the best actor? Philip Seymour Hoffman won for as Truman Capote. It was he beat out Terrence Howard in Hustle and Flow. He beat out Heath Ledger. Wow. Uh, he beat out Joaquin Phoenix. Walk the Line. Dude, that's a tough one. There's really nobody in that category that I wouldn't have. Best supporting actor was George Clooney. He beat out Matt Dillon, Paul Giamatti, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Brokeback Mountain. William Hurt, History of Violence. That was a really good movie. Best writing originals. Yeah, see that was a rough year for Academy Award. I thought Crash was not that level of movie. Oh wow, what's the worst military movie I've seen? The worst one I think that should have been a lot better was The Last Castle with Robert Redford in it. I thought that movie had so many inaccuracies in it. So, wow. I mean, I'd have to think about that one because that's a complex. There's so much material to go back and review. Okay, you're talking to the chat about Rings of Power. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Django's a tough movie. Django's a tough, but like I said, Samuel. That's one of Samuel Jackson's best performances right there. You haven't seen a Sean Penn movie? Oh, there's a lot of good ones. Go see Dead Man Walking. I think that's his best movie. He didn't win for that one, but that's his best movie. I think he was. I think that's his best role, but I don't think him as a wrestler was better than Sean Penn as Harvey Milk. Let's see. I still need to see the movie Blood. That's yeah. Daniel Day Lewis is great in that. Fantastic Four is the answer to what's the question? My favorite Sean Pennington, me Sean Penn, movies U-Turn. Slumdog Millionaire was the first fully digital film to ever win an Oscar. Yeah, I couldn't believe that movie. I was in shock when that movie won. Oh, I loved 1917. It's my favorite Sam Mendes film. That's a legendarily great movie. Legendary, that's a word. Yeah. Any Ken Burns documentary is recommended. Any. I mean, I just obviously we just his latest one was American Revolution. I watched the shit out of that. I love that. But his Vietnam one is awesome. His baseball one is awesome. His dude, he did one. I'm not into country music. It's not my thing. He did one on country music, and I was glued to that shit. So yeah, any you know, he has a penchant for getting like celebrity voices in there to read it for him, so it's kind of cool. My favorite Vietnam movie. Platoon. I think Platoon's my favorite complete one. If you're asking me, right now today. Rational with a $5 super chat. William, fun fact: Orson Welles was only 25 when he directed and starred in Citizen Kane. Welles himself thought the film was mid. Well, Orson Welles had some high ass standards too. Orson Welles' standards for his entire career were high. So yeah, which is, you know, by the way, Orson Welles' final role was as Unicron in Transformers the movie. And you know, so he chose his roles really carefully. And the fact that he decided to do Unicron at the end of his life, I thought was kind of cool. Game City Savior, how are you doing? William, speaking of one-shot scenes, hopefully Daredevil Born Again Season 2 can have a clever one-shot hallway scene that doesn't feel forced. The ones on Netflix show innovated each season. Yeah. They definitely did. They had one each season too, if I'm correct. If you want to correct me there. I agree 100%, son of. And thank you for the $5 super chat, Rational. I haven't heard too much backlash about it, but I don't know what they could be crying about. I mean, there's, you know, I think it's the best movie of the year, personally. Okay. When you ask military film, are you talking military inspired pseudo military, or are we talking like historical military? Yeah, Starship Troopers would count as a military movie, but I didn't know if that question was being aimed towards historical, you know, military movies that take place in historical ones that took place, or movies like that. Because an Aliens could be considered a war movie. It depends, but technically, yes, Hosea. Technically, yes. Oh yeah, Fantastic Four. Yeah, yeah, right. That's right. I got you. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because I had waited for Fantastic Four for years, and I was very, very happy with Fantastic Four. I really enjoyed Fantastic Four. Um, um, and I can't wait to see them again in these next couple of movies. William, wonder how Powerhouse Hobbs will do in with his new name. I think that name is lame. Maybe just Hobbs would have been a better name. Yeah, just WWE feels like, oh, you didn't come through us. You have to change everything. You have to bring it up to WWE level. I'm like, yeah, sure. Um, maybe he'll fit in WWE. Who knows? I thought, but all I gotta do whenever I think of somebody going to WWE, I think of Shinsuke Nakamura and I think of AJ Styles. And had AEW been around, then I think they could have ended up there. Aspects of it take place in Vietnam. I guess you could consider that, depending on how much. Well, how much does it? How much does it need to take place in Vietnam for it to be? And the Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter's another one. Deer Hunter. Yeah, I do have a lot of Judge Dredd comics from Fleet Red Press, and I was a collector of Judge Dredd when I was a kid. And yes, I did hate the Stallone. I haven't liked either of the movies that came out. They none of them have been for me. Yeah, it's just one of those cases where both movies were underwhelming for me. So there you go. Yeah, he tries to label it as something that's watchable. I really didn't. That movie was kind of lame for me. All right, guys, what do we got? What do we got left? I got a little bit more energy left in me. This is your show. This is me answering your questions and delving into your topics. This is No Topic Tuesday. This is it doesn't have to be about pop culture either. We'll stay away from politics but if you want to talk sports, we can. I mean, whatever you want. This is No Topic. This is you. This is. I'm just here to administer. I'm here as the hall monitor. I am. You know, we go as long as you need to. Okay. Historical film. So for me, it's gonna be okay. My favorite war movie period is gonna be Saving Private Brian. Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan is my favorite overall war movie of any era. My favorite Civil War movie is gonna be Glory, Matthew Broderick and Denzel Washington. My favorite World War One movie is 1917. My favorite Vietnam movie, as I said, Platoon. I don't have a favorite Korean War movie. So there you go. Ugh, just a sequel to do it, dude. I mean, I think that boat has left the harbor. Like, I mean, are they doing a sequel or are they talking about a remake? Because Wesley Snipes isn't necessarily in Demolition Man shape, and Sylvester Stallone definitely isn't. So I haven't heard about that. I don't know about that one, man. That might be a little. That may be a tricky investment. For what it was, yeah, yeah. Bob Evans is weird, dude. That guy, you have to admire the risk that dude takes in whatever he does. But yeah, I think Starship Troopers is iconic. It's iconic bullshit, but it's fun. Saw on a video that RGJ is doomed. So far, he looks and sounds cool, but still weird. Yeah, it's weird. And it's gonna be cool because they're not gonna explain it in the first one in Doomsday. They're gonna explain it in Secret Wars. So I look forward to it. Wow, it's been 31 years since Dead Presidents. 30. Wow, fuck, man. This is getting old. Shit. Yeah, Gloria as well. That's Gloria is a great movie. That's where Denzel won his first Academy Award. With Mel Gibson's, yeah, that's a historically accurate movie too, by the way. What are my thoughts on political movies in general, or is that I haven't seen? If that's a separate movie, Aaron, I have not seen it. But are you asking me what do I think about political movies in general? A sequel? Ooh, wow, that's gonna be a tough one. Believe it or not, I didn't do mud wrestling. We did blood wrestling. We did fake blood. I mean, science fiction, horror, fantasy. So, we actually did about 10, 15 years ago. We did that. I don't know if I still have pictures. Oh, the world is well. I don't think they're going to. I think Seattle's a complete team. Um, I don't know. I mean, why everybody rooting against New England? I mean, I'm not rooting either way. But Tom Brady's gone. Deflategate is gone. Spygate is gone. Bill Belichick is gone. Everybody that you should hate is gone. Well, then again, Vrabel's on the team. So yeah, Junkie was showing us that too, and I'm like, maybe they could go back and retcon it. They can do what but I don't know. Oh, political movies. Fuck. All the King's Men. Um, The Post. Clear and Present. I mean, there's spy movies. A lot of spy movies are political too. That one's a tough one because they straddle the lines. Frost Nixon. That's a political movie. I like that. I love that movie. That's a tough one. I have to you have to get back with me on that one because those don't jump out to me. Those don't jump out to me as like the other genres, dude. Disney owns the rights to classic films Blood and Blood, Bound by Honor, and Dead Presidents, and still to this day we only have DVD versions of those two movies. They're not on Disney. They're not on. Did you try Hulu? Should be on Hulu. I actually thought it was. I love American Gangster. I actually think that's one of Denzel Washington's underrated performances. And that was really out of Ridley Scott's zone. But then again, so was Black Hawk Down. So, by the way, Black Hawk Down is in my top 5 of military movies too. Yeah, they're just this is a better Ram machine. I mean, anything can happen in the Super Bowl, but hey. I have no predictions on the Royal Rumble. If I had, I mean, I thought it would be Braun Breaker, but they gave him his shot. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes. I mean, that would be so predictable if that was a game again. Yeah, Andor is political intrigue. That's also spy too. Favorite Tom, well, easily, without a doubt, Philadelphia. Favorite Tom Hanks movie, Philadelphia. It's not even close for me. And he's been in a lot of movies I love. Philadelphia is one of the hardest films for me to watch because it is so good. And that was during that era that he won back to back. He won Best Actor back to back. He won for Philadelphia, and then the next year he won for Forrest Gump, which I thought he was great in. But I mean, Philadelphia is man. Denzel Washington's in that movie too. And this was during the middle. This was during the time and age when you got it, you were still on your, you were still death was imminent. And watching him from beginning to the end of that movie is just some of the best acting I've ever seen. So yeah, favorite Tom Hanks movie is Philadelphia without a doubt. Oh, Winter Soldier is a political intrigue too. Yeah. Crimson Tide is political, but it's more military. Some elements of American Sniper I was okay with. Certain other ones, I guess, they kind of jumped all over the place from the book, but my certain elements of American Sniper entertained me. That's one of my favorites of him too. That's actually a comic book, by the way. It's a graphic novel. Oh my goodness! You are in for a treat when you see Philadelphia. It's his best role by far for me. Yes, it did. Streets of Philadelphia, Bruce Springsteen. And it's a simple song, but man, it strikes so many chords. Yep. Road to Perdition actually got that graphic novel. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that Road to Prediction is a comic book. The same thing like people don't know Atomic Blonde was a graphic novel as well. All right, guys, I think we're about to wrap it up. I think we've, unless you guys surprise me with something in the next 9 minutes, I think we've gotten all, William, what's a movie liner what's a one liner that I use in real life? Has to be from The Godfather. I just don't know what. It's got to be from The God. I just can't narrow it down right now for it. It's got to be from The Godfather because that's the movie I quote the most. Get back to me on that one. Oh, I can't even think of a movie that. See, there's a difference between the lines I recite just out of entertainment and then the movies that stuff I would damn, that's a hard one. Damn, I have to think about that one. It's got to be whatever it is. It's from The Godfather. The last couple of seasons, the first couple of seasons were hard to watch. I didn't think the first couple of seasons were very good. And there's some stupid shit that they did in the last 2 seasons. The whole Doomsday thing I thought was goofy. The Bizarro thing was stupid. But for the most part, that last season, especially that from like the last 4 episodes, I thought were things that it was good enough to where I was like, where was this the entire time the CW's been around? If you guys can do this, why couldn't you do this earlier? Maybe we would have a different conversation. But yeah, I like half of it to run, but not all of it. William, I'm just anticipating a brand new day teaser or trailer February any minute. I'm guessing Super Bowl Sunday. Nancy Drew to her. Is she in the public domain right now? Oh Lord. Clerks. I actually enjoyed Clerks. I don't know what I didn't see it in the movie theater. I saw it on the video. And then Clerks 2, when they're dancing, the Michael Jackson. I thought that was funny. It's not neither Clerks movie is a movie that I would go pay to see, but I was with a buddy and we were watching it and we watched them back to back, so I kind of enjoyed that. Michael Jackson's trailer. That's going to be a divisive movie, boy. That's for sure. All right, guys. I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up. This has been the first No Topic Tuesday. The next one will be next Tuesday, and every Tuesday after that, No Topic Tuesday. If you got a week, you got a week to bring something, and if you bring in a topic that dominates the hour and a half, then that's what we talk about. We'll go. It's like the waves. We'll go where the waves take us, and that's about it. Tomorrow night we will be off, and then Thursday night we're gonna talk Salvashima. We're gonna talk. Wonder Man. We're gonna talk Daredevil trailer. We'll probably have a co-host in. Who knows? 50-50. And then this Saturday night, we will roll into the Saturday Night Overnight Live show. We will cover not WrestleMania, not yet. We will be covering Royal Rumble in detail. So my wrestling heads show up for that. And that's about it. I'm not even going to bring up Clint's last comment in the fucking comment. All right, you guys take care of each other. Have a good Wednesday. That is Wednesday, yeah. Have a good Wednesday, and we will see you, at least I will see you for sure, on Thursday night with a I'm going to rename that show too. I think I'm going to rename all these shows. We already have Saturday Night Live. We already have the weekend wrap up. We have No Topic Tuesday. I think I'll give Thursday a special name. I used to say, oh, so happy it's Thursday, which spells out, oh, shit. But you know what? I think that's a little juvenile. So I think I'm going to go ahead and come up with something cool and snazzy for the Thursday show. Until I do, you guys have a nice morning. See you later.